Indira Allegra.
So before I can read you poems about my exes, I have to tell you about the first Cherokee woman, and her name is Selu. Newcorn cannot remember. In the old time, you who created all of us, planted a seed, when man was sleeping so I could grow up over his heart as an ear of corn, Selu, the first one. But Newcorn cannot remember my origin story. It stands in sterile rows with no relations, stalks thick enough to twist the helix into imposters for husking. Newcorn cannot tell how once two-legged children descending with silk and pollen in their mouths crushed milk from my kernels to make prayer tremble, tassel gold. This one is for TL. You're only going to get initials. Oral tradition. My ring finger slips inside her. Red earth from my mouth coaxing that bead of corn, Selu, the first woman. When Anegeya unfolds herself, she is a bolt of white cloth I wear over my shoulders. Like old stories of Cherokee women marrying outside their clans, choosing new lovers, divorcing, the words of waning husbands who think me untraditional. So this next poem has to do with celebrating Kwanzaa while being both Black and Indian. And so for those of you who don't know, the kinyara is the candle holder that's used for the 7-day holiday. You'll also hear a reference to Suli, which is part of my creation story. Our creation story is Cherokee people, so Suli is the great buzzard. And you'll also hear a reference to something called bean bread, which is excellent, a little bit of butter and honey. And this is for SJ. I place an ear of corn beside the kinyara, but utter Selu because Swahili is not a closer tongue to me than Cherokee. And you suck your teeth, shifting your hips, I feel your disapproval. The 1-2 punch of your buttocks against the denim. Forget your black. You turn your back to me. Shake your gele at the cornbread I made where there are beans inside. It's Muhindi, you say. Respect your ancestors. You want me to let Kwanzaa be black, like the coffee grounds in your cup, drying into mountains, leaning away from Suli's wing, searching for dry land where the world began in an earlier time. You'd wept to find in me a woman black enough to fold the soft bean of your breast into my mouth to make bread. This poem is on holding space for exes. have a pretty good track record of being friends with most friends. Yeah, okay, that's real talk. So this is for CL. It's called Blue October. I spent 3 hours working on this headwind. Kathy beams a blackened teeth. I think the brain looks really good. She grips the handle of the knife glued to her temple, in line with the serrated edge erupting through the side of her head. Does it look straight? That's why we're not together anymore. My coworker dips her bloody face into the mouth of a cranberry vodka. When she emerges, the tip of the plastic blade catches my sweater. Rick was never any fun. She tilts her chin back to catch what is welling up in her throat. You know, he'd never let me out this late. Across her neck is a slash, crossed with 7 vertical lines, Frankenstein stitches, or tick marks, remembering the number of tries she needed to leave him, the count of directions she needed to go before the prints from his hands could fade from her neck completely. She slips the bartender a smile. His biceps shaking pisco sours for a French maid and a Catwoman at the end of the bar, their latex shining. He is taking a damp rag to Catwoman's chest, where she had spilled some foam. Kathy frowns, cracks her bloody face paint at the soda I am cradling. What are you supposed to be? Perhaps more cavalier about company parties, more eager to parade some plastic horror around like the ripple of blue umbilical cord across the bathroom tile, following the fetus she dropped the last time Rick enforced her evening curfew. You grow up religious or something? She slips a thumb underneath her bra strap, checking the level of her breasts in the mirror against the shelf of Absolute bottles backlit in neon, casting a pall of blue light across the empty stripe of her ring finger. It glows brighter than the bandage she's wrapped around the blade to keep it from falling. She grips my shoulder, stammering, God, who wants to fuck a head out? Golf. You drilled deep water until twilight broke, but would not stay to skim the rising oil. Instead, you had me gazing at the cold moon spinning in your mouth, rough promises that cratered me later. Your fists gripping hair I left unbraided for you. Black willow grazing the banks of my shoulders, rung thick with cicadas beyond our window, calling me off the ledge of a child neither one of us had planned. This is for Charlie. He's up in Warm Springs territory. He admits he is leaving. Acres of thirsty trailers, windows shut from what they have heard from mother to worry over. She draws her palm back, imagines herself striking the idea from his mind, cups his temple instead. She wants to press the idea from him. Her fingers, the rippled lip of abalone, threatening to cut should he turn away. And I'll leave you with this. Homecoming. When brother did come home, he had a swish in his voice and a nervousness in his wrist that Papa didn't like. You could see where the devil had pressed new creases down into Papa's face with his nails, and how his hatred of his son rose up behind his lips like foam. He took his time, little brother, cracking his belt in heavy arcs against the tender until brother could see the split of blue paper skies along the horizon. The roof where we used to sing as small children, clapping, lifting our knees to twist our hips, winding ourselves up over and over until the ashen bumps of our ankles became light enough to lift out of reach of Papa's hands. Thank you.